I'm Irene Becker. This is Passion Point, a show about your passion, your purpose, and your potential. We're returning with Peter Reinhardt, the marketing wizard, a man who is one of the leading marketing experts for small and mid-sized business, and in particular, women. Now, Peter, what is it about women on top, successful women? I mean, a good percentage of your clientele are women, which makes you the minority. Tell me what that feels like as a man, and tell me why women.
You know, I really didn't plan it that way, but it really has worked out that way. And I'm thinking that women are very nurturing. They understand the basics and the principles of being customer-focused or other-focused other than themselves. So,
Are you saying that men are ego-focused?
For the better part.
So
I wear that. And I wear.
Sorry, I'm not trying to bash men. But there is a kind of ego focus, would you not
there
say?
Is.
A testosterone surge, and yeah. Okay.
No question, no question.
Okay.
And so perhaps redirecting your viewpoint from the viewpoint of your consumer is a tougher concept for men to grasp. For whatever reason, also the ability to be able to support and encourage and be there during women are far more transparent, I find, as knowing the right things to say. Because there's times where just looking at the marketing aspects, the fundamentals, the IQ is not exactly what is needed within a counseling session. That when we talk about how do we move this marketing strategy forward, there might be some emotional components that need to be addressed first, that need to be unpacked and got out of the way before we can kind of progress as to how to take their business to the next level.
So let me understand, what you're saying is that besides providing marketing strategy, I mean, we dealt with it in the earlier part of the interview, that you basically coach the client. You help them through the ruts in areas where they're not really actualizing their potential or their marketing ability.
I do wear both hats, you're right. And that's a big component of working together with clients.
Now, is that why your clients call you the wizard? Is that why these women were so excited, and men, and talked about your results and your integrity? Is it that coachable moment? The fact that you not only help them develop the strategy, but you're there to coach them?
I feel that the combination of the two is definitely what drives results. And the whiz came from the fact that I just tend to get much higher results, more productivity, greater bottom line results from any of the actionable marketing strategies that they implement. A lot of the secrets and magic is within people themselves. They know what it takes to make their business successful. Once they get some validation for that and they say, well, that truly is my core essence, that's my innermost personality, that is what I should be telling the world, and it hasn't happened up until now. I give them permission to be able to do that.
And you also guide them in a sense, because if we're talking about what's the secret in the sauce, the secret in my sauce is helping smart people work smarter and happier. It's helping them develop their 3 Qs, IQ, EQ, SQ, and using strengths and stressors to do it. Your secret is really showing them their magic and showing them how to align themselves and to develop a market position that's magical.
That's true.
But part of that is coaching them through the process. Part of them is helping them live, I mean, you can't say live the dream, but from what I understand from your work, I mean, you're talking about developing a marketing strategy that's customer-centric, that speaks to the customer, to their, I would say, to their want. I won't say need, because oftentimes we can ascribe a need to someone, but if they don't want it, they're not going to buy it. So customer centricity means speaking to their want, touching that hot spot, but doing it in a way that takes into the unique personality of your client and helps your client see what's unique, what their edge is. I think that's really phenomenal, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you. It's using those skills and then matching it up with technology that really then puts the horsepower behind it. And I'm the first to embrace the internet, social media, any of the tools to be able to disseminate this information and to be able to get the feedback back to the customers.
But when we look at why you're the wizard and why your clients had this incredible amount of enthusiasm for your work and for the results you've provided, I think we go back to one of your P's, personality. I mean, when you look at the internet, if there's no personality, if you don't wrap the product around the personality of the organization, what do you have? I mean, Apple has a personality. Justin Bieber has a personality.
True.
Peter Reinhardt's clients have personalities. And I think that makes the difference, Peter.
And you'll find that in the way that when I coach people, I don't do websites myself, but I coach people on how to build a website. And if it's not radiating their personality, if it's not coming through, that's one of the first things that I address, because that has to come through. It's not just pretty graphics, it's actually coming through with that personality. So a lot of the groundwork that we do is actually discovering what the personality of my client's all about, for them to discover it themselves. We create then, and in the industry we call it a brand, but then once you have that brand established, that's what you push, and that is what you wrap everything around, with every communication tool, with every way that you're engaging with the customer, with every way that you connect with the customer, that this brand radiates through that.
So the brand is the personality.
The brand is the personality.
The brand is, in a way, the unique selling proposition.
It typifies that unique selling proposition.
Yeah.
What differentiates you from everybody else. So, and it's the combination between the three, right? Between, you know, what the customer is looking for, the purpose, creating a product that speaks specifically to that customer want, the customer need, and then wrapping that personality around. The personality is the most complex of it, and that's where the 3 Qs come in. And the 3 Qs help you to be able to break apart and make sure that you're embracing each one of those Qs in the way that you're delivering the personality. So if there's anything that we spend a lot of time on, it would be around that personality. And that's where the 3 Qs have become, you know, an integral part of the way that I relate to my customers.
Okay, so when you talk about the Qs and how you relate to your customers, IQ is brain power. It's the idea, it's the concept, right? That has to be really solid.
No question.
And it has to be consumer focused. I mean, it can be very solid, but if you're not feeding a want of your target market, you're not selling anything.
In our industry, we call it the elevator pitch.
Okay.
The IQ speaks specifically to being able to articulate very, very accurately what it is the product, the service that you're delivering. That's how we identify the IQ component. Has to be solid. It takes a lot of time to actually come up with, was it that Hemingway said that if I would have had more time, my speech would have been shorter. That's how much work is involved in creating such a solid brand message that you can be able to articulate in what we call an elevator speech, the time it would take you to go up a few floors in an elevator to be able to deliver exactly what you do. That's how we address IQ.
But let me ask you, I mean, I think it's very interesting. I mean, the elevator speech really is an IQ piece because you don't have enough time to emotionally connect.
Right.
But in terms of social media and the website and further development of a brand, there's a huge EQ piece, right? And then there's the SQ piece, because if you're not serving the greater good, if you're not creating value, you're setting yourself up to fail. So how do you, I mean, you start with the IQ piece, conceptually, the concept.
True. That lays
what
the
you
foundation.
deliver.
That lays
then
the
you add the personality, and you build the EQ piece.
Exactly, and we build out the emotional part. That's where using social media allows you to be able to really typify the emotional component of the product or service. That's why we use YouTube and videos such as this to be able to really demonstrate that the emotional connection that's required for a product. You'll see that TV media and so on, that people today don't read anymore. This connection has to happen through a video format is one of the strongest. Pictures that you use, the colors, the fonts, all become part of that emotional connection.
But the words do too, Peter. Like, Let me ask you, I mean, a lot of people put up really superlative websites that get very little traffic, or they spend a great deal of money, and they don't feel that they're getting a good return on investment. The words that you use, I mean, the three things, IQ, EQ, SQ, are all important to the site and to your business and marketing, are they not?
They are. They are. The words on the, and it's interesting because Google has these little spider bots that go out into the web, and they actually can only read. They cannot see your pictures, they cannot see Flash, they cannot see the videos. They do see what you've labeled, the pictures and the Flash.
Okay, so your pictures and the labeling has to be really spot on.
It has to tie in specifically.
And it has to be consumer focused and reflect your personality. Peter, you're the wizard.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for tuning in to Passion Point. We'll be back shortly.